Polls have closed in Chile following a second round of voting to choose a new president. Former president and socialist leader Michelle Bachelet is tipped to beat her conservative rival Evelyn Matthei. Well, joining us from Santiago is our Latin America editor, Lucia Newman. Lucia, Michelle Bachelet is widely expected to win this election. How did the voting go today, and when can we expect the results out?
That is right, Darren. The polls closed just a few minutes ago. The votes are being counted right now, but there seems to be a little mystery about who the winner will be, Michelle Bachelet. And the results should be out in a little less than an hour, in fact. The voting, however, was rather disappointing in the sense that this is the first election in which voting was not mandatory, and the turnout was very low. It might actually be a historic low, in fact. Now, Bachelet's, the actual numbers by which Bachelet will win are not known yet. They will be soon, but she will certainly have her work cut out for her. Joining me to talk a little bit more about that is the Secretary General of Bachelet's party, the Socialist Party, Francisco Diaz. Francisco, thank you for joining us. I'd like to start by asking you this. By most accounts, Chile is a success story in Latin America. Unemployment is the lowest it's ever been. The economic growth rate is high. Why would Chileans shift from a conservative government to a center-left coalition which includes the Communist Party with Michelle Bachelet?
Well, as you said, on most accounts say that, but the fact is that we still remain as a highly unequal society. People are demanding very important reforms in education, in the tax code, in labor reforms, and also in the way we do politics. People are demanding also a new constitution in the country to change the electoral system, to make our politics more transparent. So there is this mixture, as you say. We do want to maintain all the stable economy, but also we want that economic growth to be more equally distributed and with a more transparent politics and democracy.
Is Chile going to take a sharp shift to the left, as some people, certainly in the conservative camp, are predicting, something like Venezuela?
It is a shift to the left. That's obvious. But if you take and you analyze every single reform that Bachelet is proposing, it is nothing that other developed countries like the OECD countries are doing right now. We are talking about having a more equal tax system. We are talking about having a more quality in the educational system. We are talking about investing in public education. So things that are happening everywhere in the world. The things that we were in the far right with this government. So it seems like we are doing this big shift to the left, but it's not that much.
Now, the fact that there has been such a low voter turnout, that is being painted by some as a sign that Bachelet does not have a popular mandate to bring about these reforms.
Yes, some people in the right have raised that argument, saying that, well, people didn't vote, so people do not agree with the reforms that Bachelet is proposing. One could also say, well, people didn't vote because they don't agree with the current status quo. So, abstention, you cannot interpret abstention. Abstention is abstention, that's it. But we do believe that Bachelet has received a huge amount of votes. We have had 4 elections this year. We had a primary where Bachelet obtained 75%. We have a parliamentary election where the Bachelet's coalition got a big majority. We had the first round where she gets 46%, and now a second round. So people are tired a little bit of voting, but we understand that there is a clear mandate for these reforms that she's proposing.
So perhaps a bit of voter fatigue. One more thing, though. What do you think will be Michelle Bachelet's biggest challenge, presuming, as we do, that she will be declared the winner? Expectations are very, very high.
That's correct. Expectations are high, and well, one of our jobs will be try to build a channel for all these expectations and all these willingness for change. I guess that the major reform and the most difficult one is a new constitution. Michelle Bachelet has proposed a new constitution. It is not entirely clear under the current constitution, under the current rules, how do you enact a new one? So that's going to be the main political challenge for us. But well, she's here for doing the difficult things, not for doing the easy things. So we are really confident that we will have a good government.
Well, but she herself has said, for example, that Chileans expect so much of her that they might even expect her to fix their marital problems. She seems a little bit worried that some of these expectations have become unreasonable, out of hand, and that could bring more people out onto the streets to protest.
I agree with you, but that's what leadership is about. To raise expectations is always good in politics. To make people believe that you can make a change, that's something important.
But not to make it is just as bad.
That's the point. But we will, I'm sure. She has been very clear, for instance, in reducing all these expectations into 3 basic reforms: tax, education, and constitution. And the others, well, they can wait. Okay, so she has been trying to reduce these expectations without losing, of course, the ambition of her program. Drafting a new constitution is, is a big task, of course. So that's going to be the issue in the next government, I guess.
What do you think is how do you explain her popularity? What is the secret to her success? Some people say it's almost irrational how much people love her.
It's not irrational. She's a very close person, nice person, very charismatic, of course, it's very relevant in modern politics. But I guess people really remembers her first government as a good government, where she was able to give many social benefits to many people. She had the economic crisis at that time in 2008, 2009, so she managed to handle the crisis very well. And also, and that's a very relevant thing, I think that we do have a problem with representative democracy. People, there is some kind of distrust with politicians. People see her as something new, as something that is really relevant, something new that she can create a better environment for politics.
Francisco Diaz, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. Well, there you have it. The election is over. The votes are being counted right now. We understand, in fact, that Michelle Bachelet is arriving at around this time to the hotel that you see behind me, where her campaign is gathering, where they presumably will be holding a celebration within the next couple of hours. Back to you now in Doha.